Let's bring in Yang Yuguang now. He's a professor from the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation and vice chair of the Space Transportation Committee at the International Astronautical Federation. Professor, this is the longest space station stay so far. Tell us more about the status of this mission, especially with the recent spacewalk.
Well, that the Shenzhou-13 mission is the last mission in the what we call the technology demonstration phase. That China has mastered all the major technologies necessary to building a space station, but not all the technologies. So the task of Shenzhou-12 and Shenzhou-13 mission is to accomplish this goal. For instance, we master the technology for long duration in space. The Shenzhou-12 mission have proved that the measures we used to deal with the loss of bones and the weakening of the cardiovascular system and muscles are very effective, but not prove that it will be effective for 6 months. So this time, the Shenzhou-13 crew will stay in the station for 6 months, as your colleagues has already mentioned. You know that in the future, the routinary turnover of each expedition team will be 6 months. So this is very necessary to test the technologies. Moreover, we also have to test the technologies such as the regenerative life support system. And the most important that this time we have already performed the first female EVA in space.
And tell us more about her part in all of this. And quickly, you mentioned 6 months, 5 more to go. Tell us more about what the crew still has left to accomplish and the importance of it. But let's talk about that female taikonaut.
Well, yes, that's to have women in space is very, very important, not only for China but also for all over the world. The absence of female astronauts is not complete. Is very incomplete for human space activities. So China also has its own female astronauts. The Yaping, as my friend, I'm very proud of her because she's not only the second female astronaut in China, but also the first space teacher of China, dedicated in space education and outreach. And this time, she has become the first female astronaut to perform the EVA. This is very tough for her because you know that the EVA requires a very strong strength on your arms, but that's advantage of men, not women. So this time she has performed the 6.5 hour EVA very perfectly. In the coming days, as you have already asked, they will perform other tests. For instance, the transposition of a spacecraft from the front docking port to the side berthing port. This is very critical for the future construction of the station because you know that the future the Wentian and Mengtian experimental module will move from the front docking port to the side berthing port. But before that, we must test that technology with the help of the robotic arm. The astronauts will monitor the whole procedure in the station. And also, they will perform other tests, for instance, one or two EVAs to mount other necessary equipment outside the station. And also, as I have already mentioned, the influence of the microgravity environment to the body is also very important, including the influence to men and women.
It is so amazing to see the pictures of those EVAs. They're wonderful, wonderful pictures. We know that China has some other important things happening in space. Bring us up to date on the Mars mission as well as the one on the far side of the moon. What is the latest with those two projects?
Well, yes, as you already mentioned, that the Chang'e 4, its lander, and the Jade Rabbit 2 rover has breaking a record of moving on the lunar surface. So the Jade Rabbit 2 or the U2 rover has the longest duration of rovering on the lunar surface. And our Zhurong rover is the second one just after the United States to have the soft landing and working on the Martian surface. And you know that the design lifespan of the Zhurong rover is about 90 days on Mars, which means 92 days of the Earth. So it has already been proved that it works properly. The design is correct. Now it has its extension of its missions. So it's roving to the south and to monitoring more evidence. If we are lucky enough, maybe we can find the evidence of the past and current life form on the Martian surface. So that will be a very great achievement. But also, you know that until now, the human being has not found life on the Martian surface. The other research is also very meaningful, and the orbiter has already changed its orbiter to a remote sensing orbit, which also will have the ability to perform the data relay service for the rover, but also will use its 7 instruments to monitoring the Martian surface.
Some great pictures from there as well. Always great to see you, Professor Yang Yuguang. Thank you so much for joining us from Beijing. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ellie.